One of those things that Donald Trump was trying to put out there to try and regain control of the narrative and maybe get some people back on his side. Scott Bessent had to talk about that on the Sunday shows. Here he is trying to clean up more Trump messes.
Do you have a formal proposal to give a $2,000 dividend to every American?
I haven't spoken to the president about this yet, but it could. The $2,000 dividend could come in lots of forms, in lots of ways, George. It could be just the tax decreases that we are seeing on the president's agenda. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security, deductibility of auto loans. So, those are substantial deductions that, are being financed in the tax bill.
Scott Bessent there is somehow trying to clean up this whole thing of $2,000. Did you guys hear about $2,000? By the way, if you didn't really understand where he was going with it, $2,000 apparently was supposed to be coming to Americans. And now it's tax credits, tax on tips, a bunch of bullshit that Herman Munster over there is talking about. This is what he was referring to and having to answer for. The president said this: people that are against tariffs are fools. We are now the richest, most respected country in the world with almost no inflation and a record stock market price. 401ks are highest ever. We are raking in trillions of dollars and will soon begin paying down our enormous debt. Soon. In fact, $37 trillion, he says. Record investment in the USA. Plants and factories going up all over the place. A dividend of at least $2,000 a person, not including high-income people, will be paid to everyone. So Donald Trump is promising $2,000 to everyone. I mean, not higher earning people. Where higher earning income people goes, where he's making these declarations, who knows? Who cares? It's coming out of his ass. He's just posting things to try and make himself look good, and he still thinks people are buying it. The problem is the only people buying it are those 8 senators that voted his way to end this government shutdown and give them everything that they want. Those are the 8 people in the country who are buying his bullshit. Here's a Republican strategist who's against all the things going on with MAGA. She's breaking down further how ridiculous that post was.
Is this more of an effort to, hand Americans checks with Donald Trump's signature at the bottom of them? And is that even enough anymore?
Well, that's exactly what he wants to do, is say, look what Donald Trump, just me, not the government, just me, is giving you, American public, a nice $2,000 check. Similar to, by the way, what we saw under COVID. That we did see those checks go out. So it's not the first time it's been discussed, and it's doubtful, however, it will be implemented. I don't see Republicans, especially in the House, going along with this. It just doesn't work for the financial controls that the House wants to have on big spending. It's just a way of him talking. Again, it's something for him to throw out there because he knows that the issue of the expiring subsidies for the Affordable Care Act is coming and very soon, and it is having a negative effect on Republicans.
It's pretty straightforward. He starts panicking. He starts making promises. How many promises has he actually lived up to that he keeps telling everyone he's giving away this and throwing that at them? Hey, I thought giveaways were this weird socialist Democrat thing where they just give people money and then these lazy ass people take it and they don't do anything for it. Now this sumbitch talking about $2,000 a person. Why is it they're suddenly accepting this? It's, they just have to try and clean it up and then say, no, he was actually joking, you guys. He didn't really mean it that way. So this is another ways that Scott Bessent was trying to do that.
Main argument, though, seems to be that it's about taking in the revenue. And he also promised this morning a dividend of at least $2,000 a person, not including high-income people. How is he going to pay that dividend of $2,000 a person?
It's not about taking in the revenue. It's about rebalancing. And the revenue occurs early on, and then as we rebalance and the jobs come home, then it becomes domestic tax revenue.
Are you worried that the president's focus on revenue, though, which is what he's been focusing on in his public statements, is going to hurt your argument at the Supreme Court?
Not at all. It's completely consistent that the revenues come in at the beginning, then as we rebalance, which is the goal of this, bring back high-paid manufacturing jobs to the U.S., then it will then morph into domestic tax revenues. President Trump has consistently fought for the American worker, and we are seeing trillions of investments in the U.S. that would not have occurred without the tariffs.
That's a lie, too. Again, like I said before, lies get dispelled Then they get trapped in a corner, act like it wasn't said, and go back and tell those lies again. That's been debunked hundreds of times. Oh, we're still talking about how the tariffs are bringing in all this money and all this manufacturing. Things are popping up everywhere. But again, that $2,000 is supposed to come from not from revenue and you're getting it. It's coming from rebalancing. So you're going to get $2,000 somehow in these new jobs and in these new factories and these goals that they say they have of bringing in 17, 21, 23, 25 trillion dollars that they keep talking about, which is based in absolutely nothing. By the way, if they are giving everybody $2,000, that's chump change. Peanuts, as Donald Trump said about what he said of the $21 trillion of revenue coming in from all these corporations and foreign companies. What actually, they want you to think that $2,000 is worth your time, and they're not even going to give you that. How pathetic is this? They think you're that stupid to be bought out by a $2,000 promise without even much that's backing it up. Here's more Scott Bessent.
The other thing, too, is the authority that he uses is called IEPA. It is an emergency authority, and he used that emergency authority. He got the Chinese to the table to negotiate on stopping the precursors for fentanyl drugs. If fentanyl, hundreds of thousands of Americans dying every year, is not an emergency, what is? On October 8th, Chinese threatened to put export controls on rare earth materials. He was able to threaten 100% tariffs, and we were able to negotiate that away. And then finally, in terms of the general tariffs, we are doing these trade deals that would not be possible. We were at a tipping point in terms of the economy, in terms of our trade balance, and we are rebalancing successfully.
All of those things that he's saying are based on him just telling you, and you're supposed to believe it. We're at the tipping point. Things are about to break. We rebalanced our whole trade economy. Things were horrible. When are these factories coming in? When are these jobs coming? It's soon. It's 2 weeks. It's next year. It's once we get out of this horrible situation that Biden put us in. None of those things are specifics. But what's specific is when your electricity bill comes. You know what else is specific? When the lady at the grocery store, you're checking out and it says, that'll be $107, please, for these 7 items. Those are specific numbers. But what's not specific is when that'll change. He just says it'll do it at some point. Donald Trump thinks he's on this tour of good news for the economy. He showed up at the Washington Commanders game. Did you guys see this?
Trump is at the game there in D.C., or actually in Maryland, just outside of D.C., while the shutdown is going on. It's got Veterans Day, Marine Corps birthday, and he's going to talk right now, actually. Let's listen.
Let me stop talking because these guys are booing the shit out of me. This is a guy that was promising $2,000 a person. This is the guy who just said, I don't give a damn about your skyrocketing healthcare costs. I don't give a damn about those SNAP benefits. I'm fighting that in court. This is that same guy. And all these folks at this Commanders game booed his ass. There's a couple more things than boo that they were saying. A couple more fingers that they tossed up instead of just a thumbs up. I thought maybe after that he'd be like, I have to, I have to bail on this place. They're booing the hell out of me. Nobody likes me. This could look really bad. Instead, this guy went up in the booth on Fox NFL Sunday in their booth during that game and got to saying the same things he always says.
Respects to combat, war, etc., and you kind of take some of the same strategies. Would love to hear your thoughts about where we are as a nation, how we're doing.
Well, we're doing great, and recruitment is doing phenomenally. People have spirit. Our stock market hit an all-time high. Prices are coming down. We inherited a mess. Prices are coming way down. And I'll tell you, our country has over $17 trillion being invested in it, which is a record. So we're doing great.
No, it's not. But as long as you go on Fox Football Sunday and have this guy stand up in the booth and talk to Jonathan Vilma and the play-by-play guy, I forgot his name, then all will be forgotten. People will suddenly think different of their own realities. It's not going to work, despite the fact that Democrats folded on this. It's not going to work. It's impossible for it to work. People literally have to have a different experience for this to work. And people have already clued in on it. So now we're at the point where all those people that they're calling fringe and radicals are the only people that represent Americans now.